Item number 8.
Item number 8, proclamation recognizing World Habitat Day. Stan Vanderwerf, Commissioner, Board of County Commissioners.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody, it looks like we have a few that are coming down that will be able to receive this proclamation. Thank you. Please come up to the podium and sign in, and I'll go ahead and start the reading. I'd like to make a motion to approve the proclamation recognizing World Habitat Day. Whereas World Habitat Day was established by the United Nations General Assembly in 1985 to be the first Monday in October to recognize the concerns and conditions of adequate shelter for all humans, and to encourage grassroots action toward improving housing conditions worldwide. And whereas during World Habitat Day, Habitat for Humanity draws attention to the important role decent housing plays in eliminating barriers to a better, healthier, and more financially stable life. And whereas through the Cost of Home campaign, Habitat commits to mobilizing our partners, volunteers, and community members across the U.S. to find the solutions and to help create the policies that will improve home affordability for 10 million individuals. And whereas Pikes Peak Habitat for Humanity has assisted 169 families in El Paso County attain and maintain permanent affordable housing. And whereas there are many organizations committed to providing supportive services to people experiencing the housing challenge, including the Pikes Peak Habitat for Humanity, El Paso County, and member agencies of the Colorado Springs El Paso County Continuum of Care. And whereas the purpose of this proclamation is to raise awareness and to educate and mobilize individuals and communities to take action on the current local and global housing challenge. Now, therefore, the Board of County Commissioners hereby proclaim October 7, 2019 World Habitat Day in El Paso County, Colorado, done this third day of October 2019 at Colorado Springs, Colorado. The Board of County Commissioners of El Paso County, Colorado, signed Mark Waller, Chair, Lojinos Gonzalez, Jr., Vice Chair, Stan Vanderwerf, Holly Williams, and Cami Bremer, members, and attested to by Chuck Browerman, County Clerk and Recorder. Do I have a second?
Second?
Yep. All right, that's been moved and seconded. Please, I think you both already signed in, so state your name and then you may begin.
Absolutely. Thank you so very much, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Vanderwerf, and all of the commissioners. Ian Probert, Director of Development with Pikes Peak Habitat for Humanity, with my colleague, Laura Williams-Paris. What a wonderful proclamation, sir, and thank you so very much for that. And also, Commissioner Vanderwerf, I know that you are 100% supporter of Habitat for Humanity, and we greatly appreciate you. And Commissioner Bremer, we've met out on the Freedom Springs, the groundbreaking for that for our veterans, and I just know that we have the full support of this body here, and we're very, very thankful for that. Just going to take a couple of minutes, if that's okay, just to give you an update on what Habitat for Humanity is doing within El Paso County. But really, Habitat for Humanity, yeah, it's the vehicle, but it's all of our supporters, our funders, our volunteers. Supporters, we've already heard, Commissioner Williams, you've mentioned about PPAR, Pikes Peak Association of Realtors. They are a key sponsor for a second time of a real estate build this year. So it brings this community together, and it's about this community looking out for members of this community, 75,000 people who are below the poverty line. And together, you and all the members of El Paso County, all of the residents are taking care of them. Country Living, which is where we are currently building, got a couple of sites, actually, I'll talk about a second one here shortly, but Country Living in Fountain. We began building and, in fact, dedicated our first home in 2012. And then coming up at the end of next year, we will dedicate our final home. That's 34 homes, ladies and gentlemen, for 34 families, many of whom have children. The impact is enormous. For generations, it will be stable, permanent, affordable housing. housing that little boys and girls who grow up to be teenagers and 12th graders, homes that they will come to home every evening, homes that they will share graduations in, homes that they will have a permanent bed in, that they're not moving from moving special to moving special. School district where teachers can develop a solid relationship with these students, because there's so many students across the nation, in fact, in this state, in this county, that unfortunately have to move from moving special to moving special. I'm talking about apartments, and have to move from school to school every 6 to 12 months. So we're very proud of Country Living, of our friends in Fountain, and again, of all of our supporters and our volunteers. Just talk about a couple of them here. On the left-hand side, our second veteran home build. Veteran here, Ron, served as a medic at Fort Carson. Rick, our first veteran, who we dedicated his home for last year, also served on post here in El Paso County. A future for Ron and Amanda's family with their 3 beautiful girls. Go into the middle, another supporter, Thrivent Financial. 14 homes since Pikes Peak Habitat for Humanity was founded in 1986 here. 14 homes is what Thrivent Financial have made possible together with our other partners as well. And there we see the situation here. When people apply for a Habitat home, they have to demonstrate a need. It could be overcrowding. They have to demonstrate the ability to partner with Habitat for Humanity. That typically is each person on the title, each adult on the title puts forward 200 hours of sweat equity, either building their own home or a neighbor's home. Unfortunately for Randy, his need with overcrowding, but also his need was diagnosed with liver disease at the young age of 33. Dale Street, this is going to be completed actually in early spring of next year. These are Chodo funds which are worked through with the city of Colorado Springs. This is infill that we put on Dale Street, and there you see the 4 homes there. Again, 4 families, and that's going to be 16 human beings will have a decent place to live and a permanent place to live, and for the mums and dads, the adults, an opportunity to pass that on to generation to generation. So important. And we have some new sites which we're developing again in Fountain on Illinois and Race Street, right close to the elementary school that you see in that picture. The first one is called Micah's View. Some of you may remember from around Thanksgiving last year, a young cadet from the prep school at the academy was missing on Longs Peak, and then his remains were actually found a couple of months ago. So named after Micah's Tice, Micah actually came out with his classmates 6 weekends to work on a home last October and November at our site, Country Living in Fountain. Jacob's Run, also a very young volunteer who served on our finance committee. He unfortunately died as a result of a car accident a couple years ago. So naming these sites after Jacob's Run. And there you see, there's that home there. That was built at the turn of last century. So asbestos, a whole host of things, but anyway, it's been mitigated. It's just been recently demolished. And there on that site and the surrounding area, there's going to be 5 families will be housed with their permanent home. And another program that we're kicking off here is a Brush with Kindness critical home repairs, basically neighborhood repairs where people can apply for help, for assistance with repairs that if they weren't done, they would have to leave their home. This is people who own their homes. So by doing these repairs, such as roofing, siding, and we call aging in place, it allows these wonderful human beings to remain in their homes. And that's it. from me. Again, I'd like to thank you. I'd like to thank all of our supporters, all of our funders throughout Paso County for making permanent, decent, safe, affordable housing possible. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Ma'am, did you want to say anything? All right, hey, come back down here. We're going to take a picture in a minute, unless you don't want to take a picture. Any comments from the board, Commissioner Gonzalez?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I just want to thank you for all the great work you guys do. I did get down to the fountain side a couple months ago. One of the things I did learn about were there were some specialized work days, and one of them was like a women's weekend. Could you highlight a couple of those kind of activities? Because it was something I did try to get information out, and I think the public would like to hear that.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. We have gone from having a national one women's work week to now here in Paso County, sir, having 4 a year, so 1 every quarter, and it spans over 3 days. And yeah, thank you very much for bringing that up. I greatly appreciate. If members of the public wish to go to our website, pikespeakhabitat.org, they can find all the information there for the women's work weeks. And also this, in a fortnight's time, sorry, that's 14 days time.
Thank you for that.
Thank you, sir.
We appreciate that.
Translator, yeah.
Yep.
So on the 19th of October, 18th and 19th, Friday and Saturday, that begins our first Veterans Build 2 days. We're going to have those every single month because people, they just want to put their fingerprints on these veteran build homes. They really, in fact, they want to put their fingerprints on every home, but the veterans, it's a special place in people's hearts.
And I appreciate that. And as I told the public, you don't need to wait for any of the special days. You can just volunteer at any time. So thank you again for all the great work.
That's awesome. Commissioner Bremer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for being here today. I filled you in the first time I met you that I am from South Georgia, from actually just a couple miles down the road, south of Plains, Georgia, kind of home of Habitat for Humanity. So I grew up with high school and community service projects being Habitat builds. First Make a Difference Day, we spent all weekend, not just a day, building a Habitat home with many of my high school colleagues. And I'm actually headed back later today to my 20-year-old high school reunion, and I have a feeling some of the pictures that will surface will be from those home builds. But it's just a phenomenal organization, and I've been blessed to kind of know your mission from my early upbringing. But often what we talk about here when we have human services issues that come up is how can we break this cycle of poverty, and how can we turn many generous safety nets in this community into trampolines. And I've long been a believer that Habitat for Humanity is one of those organizations that does a great job of that. Those hours of sweat equity that the families are invested in their homes, in their neighborhoods, and in being neighborly. I think that's just, that's one of those qualitative measures that we can't really measure. And how do you measure prevention? So I think you guys do just an amazing job. I love the model, I love the organization, and I'm proud that there's a strong presence here in El Paso County as we're struggling with affordable housing across the board. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Commissioner Williams.
Yeah, we greatly appreciate all of the work that you do. Now, am I to understand when they move in these houses, do they have a mortgage at all, or a small one?
Yeah, I'm sorry, my bad. I mentioned the 3 criteria, the need, the sweat equity, and yes, thank you. The third is the ability to pay a monthly mortgage.
Okay.
And that is the one piece that, if there's one misconception about Habitat for Humanity, is that we give the keys away to brand new homes to anyone. Farther from the truth, that.
Okay.
So yes, a monthly affordable mortgage, and thank you very much.
And if you can swing a hammer without hitting your thumb, you can come and work on it, right?
You can hit your thumb too. That's okay. I don't think it
Thank you for
matters.
all you do. We really appreciate it.
I'm pretty experienced hammer swinger, and I hit my thumb all the time still. I would also like to say Habitat for Humanity, I think, is the right model. We have all of these programs that help folks in poverty. I am all about programs that help people get out of poverty, not help keep people being impoverished. And I think that there is a definite distinction there, because I think a lot of the programs that are out there do keep people in poverty, but I think Habitat for Humanity is the absolute perfect model. I love that you have to have sweat equity in it. I love that you have to have ownership and empowerment over what is going to become yours. It's not a gift to you, it's a contract. If you work hard and do the things that we're asking you to do, we're going to give you a low-cost housing option. But you got to put your effort and work into it as well. And at the end of the day, you're not going to get it for free. You're going to have to work and make the payments on it, but we're going to make it in such a way that you're able to afford it. I think it is the spot-on, perfect model for growing people out of poverty, and I wish more organizations took this kind of approach to how they deal with impoverished people. So I'm a huge supporter. Commissioner Vanderwerf.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I would like to echo many of the comments that my colleagues have made. I've been a volunteer for Habitat for Humanity at various times in my career, but that started actually in the 1980s. And I did come to one of your facilities, one of your sites here, build sites here, as you know, and volunteered for Saturday. Got reinvigorated about Habitat for Humanity as a result, and went and spoke with our executive director, Julie Crow, from the Department of Human Services, and they have now volunteered time, committing a Saturday with several people from DHS to help build homes. And we worked on landscaping, as I recall, when we were doing that, and that was, I think, last year. I'd also like to thank all the supporters that help contribute financially to making Habitat for Humanity a success in our community. You mentioned one, Pikes Peak Association of Realtors, and we know there are many others. These are great organizations in our community that care. And I also believe deeply, as my colleagues have stated, in the business model that you pursue in Habitat for Humanity, which is that people have to earn these homes. And that produces a behavior pattern that actually increases the opportunities for success for those families, because it doesn't come free. They've got to work for it. They need a job to pay for the mortgage. They just might be in a place where they can't afford a normal market mortgage. So you work on helping with that in many great ways, because the sweat equity helps to take care of that difference between what's unaffordable and what is affordable. So those are really, really wonderful things. And I do recall going to one of these, and I think some of the other commissioners may have been with us at the time. We went to one of these celebrations when a family formally entered the house. Talk about an emotional event. That was actually tough on all of us, because it was such a joyous thing, right? We're all really excited about seeing this happen. And I just remember that very vividly, and I remember the joy I saw in that family's faces, including the children, because they were going to have a place of their own, and with their own hard work and loving that place, they're going to take great care of it, because it really means quite a lot to them to have a stable place to live. So again, my hat's off to you all. Thanks for coming. We were thrilled to do this proclamation on your behalf. And we continue to look forward to great things that you're going to do for our community. Thank you very, very much.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. With that, I'll call the roll. Commissioner Bremer.
Aye.
Commissioner Vanderwerf.
Aye.
Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Aye.
The chair votes aye. That passes unanimously. We will stand in recess for a picture.